Hi, everybody. It's Rhiannon with Boating Insider. I am here today with Will. Is it almost say it correctly? Wangel?
You got it.
Okay, Will Wangel with Sea Rocket Water Adventures, and he has worked with Vessel Vanguard for a while. And I really just got curious about what he's doing. He has a pretty awesome organization. And so we're going to hear a little bit about it, what he's got going on, talking a little bit about adrenaline and his first class experience when it comes to having adventures. So thank you so much, Will.
Absolutely. So, yep, our company, Sea Rocket Adventures, we kind of do just that. We do everything from boat tours, parasailing, jet ski rentals, boat clubs. We've done a little bit of every aspect, I would say, of the whole kind of water sports business. The company has been around since we think 1986 in Ocean City, Maryland. Even the locals don't really seem to have a legitimate answer there. But anyway, I've been involved in the company for 4 years. And we've grown it from one big speedboat here in Ocean City, Maryland. Now we've got 5 locations and all the different product offerings. We're from Delaware to South Florida, getting ready to start franchising across the country. It's been been a really cool and unique business. I found I grew up boating, but I had no business experience other than working on sport fishing boats, I would say, in the boating world. So it's been an interesting ride. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's I would say this, it's very unique in the kind of the business since I've entered the business world.
So we'll back it up. So what's your role within the company?
I am the CEO.
That's what I thought. All right. And you've been there for 4 years?
Yes.
So did you acquire the company from somebody else or did you start it?
My partner had acquired the company in 2016. He's in the real estate world, develops hotels, campgrounds, a handful of marinas. And this was a good supplement to his other businesses in the area here in Ocean City. But he's a very forward-looking guy. And once we've got the business really going here in Ocean City, timing was pretty good with the post-COVID outdoor boom. And grew it to Fort Lauderdale and then to Bradenton Beach in 2022. Lauderdale was 21. And then this year we opened up in Chicoutimi, Virginia and Dewey Beach, Delaware.
So you didn't have any type of business experience prior other than you said you being on boats, being on the water, being familiar with that environment. So that seems like a big undertaking in a very short amount of time, like expanding to 4 locations, these 5 locations, right?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I went to school for finance, graduated with a finance and management degree from the University of Miami. I think like every other kid from not the city, you kind of are like, do I really want to go work in downtown Manhattan in an investment bank or financial institution? And my first job was a financial analyst at a research company, and I liked it, but I just didn't feel like I had fit there. It's boring to me. So I ended up just kind of good timing, and my partner now had reached out to me. He had essentially acquired this company, and the other person he had involved was no longer a part of it. And he's like, man, I got this really cool opportunity of what I think could be a really good business. It's got its challenge, a lot of moving parts with boats. Boats are expensive, especially boats that are older. So we've had quite a few hurdles to get over in the last few years, but it's a business that I've really come to enjoy.
So there's a lot that you said there that my brain started like pinging, just like curious on when you started, how you said you had the one big, was it the ski? What boat was it that you had at first?
It's called the Sea Rocket. It's
Sea Rocket. It's the flagship one, right?
Yes, it's a 65-foot speedboat, 126 passengers.
That's
pretty unique boat.
So that was your first one. That was like the flagship boat. That was, what the adventure was about. So now you have the parasails, you have the jet skis, I know you have the skiffs. So you really expanded pretty quickly. I mean, you're kind of covering the spectrum of the different types of adventures and people that would be interested in playing on the water, right?
Yeah, it's been cool to see different markets. We found different things really work well in different markets. Where Ocean City, Maryland, we get a surge of tourists for the summer months. You can do 25 or 30,000 people in a summer,
Mm-hmm.
whereas a market like Dewey Beach, Delaware is a great market for rentals. We have about 15 rental boats there collectively and 10 jet skis. So, from our perspective, you don't need as many sales or people to have a very good business there, but you're not going to do any sort of numbers like you do in Ocean City. So we've kind of, every time we moved into a new market, we've kind of evaluated, what's the competition like? I think
Mm-hmm.
traditional business thinking, it's always been, high barrier to entry. Like Fort Lauderdale as an example, commercial slips are not just readily available there.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were able to get in, it's just, you don't have competition. So that evaluating, all right, what's the average vacationer here? What are they looking to do? So it's been kind of unique. Dewey Beach people don't have any problem spending $800 for a rental boat, but you're not going to get that in Ocean City, Maryland. So we've kind of tailored the experiences and the rentals to what the market at that location is like.
What's the biggest driver in Bradenton Beach?
Bradenton Beach, we only offer parasailing there.
Okay.
That's a really cool market because it's a lot of return customers. You'll talk to hotels there and they'll be booked 14 months out because the majority of people will rebook their hotel when they leave. So we found the longer we've been there, our book has just grown and we get the same return customers every year. So it's been an absolutely great market for us.
That's fantastic. And you don't have a lot of competition. That really surprises me in some of those areas. I would think that Bradenton Beach would have that type of offering already, but it sounds like no.
They do have a couple of parasail boats. There's
Okay.
another operator there that's a very good operator. We've found this industry to be a little bit just not ran professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I'll use that location as an example. There's a few companies that used to be there that are no longer there. They don't. I think all of us can agree with boating. You're better off spending the money up front and making sure whether it's an older boat and you repower it, you have to spend the money to have a properly operating vessel, especially for us. We have passengers in the air on a parasail boat, so
Yeah.
there's nothing short of perfection. And we've just found, having professional crews, our boats in immaculate condition, properly maintained, preventative maintenance, proper parasailing equipment, and bringing that professionalism. Once customers start to notice that, it makes a huge difference. And I think there's a level of professionalism that's not seen a lot in water sports. There's a handful of great companies across the country that really do a great job. And I just think it makes a huge difference. And it takes a little bit of time with, like starting any business, but people notice.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of goes into my next question is, what are some of the challenges that you're facing that may be unique to this type of a business?
Oh, there's a couple big ones. The first one is customer service. We obsess over customer service. And over time, we've been able to build out a 24/7, 365 call center, which has been a huge advantage to us. Anybody can pick up the phone anytime and call us, any questions. I would say for the first year and a half, that was our biggest bottleneck in our whole company. And everybody wanted to do everything outside post COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a year and a half of just trying to build as quick as we could.
How did you do that? Because that was one of the things that was a pillar in a previous business adventure on our side. And it really did stand out. And it sounds so elementary of we have better customer service. And then you go into the specifics, right? I know one of the things you say is that we offer a first class experience. Having 24/7, 365 customer support is a big part of it. So how did you go from not offering it to making that a strategic pillar within your company's culture?
Good question. So my first season, it was COVID year. So we opened late. I think we opened like the first day of July. Cause nobody really knew, like, can I have 125 people on a boat together? And I think like most boating businesses, we said, yeah, we're opening. And, I just noticed how inefficient it was having phones ring in a ticket booth, essentially. And then we experimented with some call centers that do hotels, and it was just not the right fit because a hotel, they're not getting bombarded with calls on a pretty day. It's more spaced out, and people are booking for 2 or 3 weeks out, where 75% of our customers are booking for that day, maybe 20% the next day, and 5%, even further out. So we just started, it was a weird time because most call centers actually weren't in person. And we found a partner, of all places. They're stationed in Pittsburgh, but their agents are all across the United States. And they do a lot of different clients. They have some clients in kind of like city cruises and ferries. They didn't really have a water sports per se client, but we were able to kind of build out over a year a water sports based solution that is pretty amazing. I mean, we did over 650 phone calls in one day this year, and our abandonment rate was only like 5%, and calls were answered in under 20 seconds on average. So, and it's unique in the fact where all of our captains have a phone number they can call if they've got to move the rest of the day because of weather, anything else, and they just tell them their name, what boat they're running, and the call center will go ahead and take care of the entire calendar.
Wow, that's impressive.
So, yeah, it's worked out very well for us.
So when you mentioned captains, again, took it to the next level. So you were able to partner with a customer support team that had the same type of standards that you all were looking to achieve with offering to your customers. And now you have your staff, your employees at all these different locations. How is that maintained? I mean, everywhere that I talk to anybody throughout all these industries is that there's a shortage. It's hard to find really good work, hard to retain the work. Like, it's just a very competitive market. And then you're in somewhat of a niche-y part of the maritime industry. So what is that like, finding staff and keeping staff?
It was really difficult during COVID because so many water sports operations were trying to expand very quickly. It was hard to find talent there for a good year. And after a couple of years, though, just our reputation really got out there on the street, and it made it a lot easier to acquire people and keep them, because we really take care of them, pay their health insurance. All of our full-time guys are salary plus. For me, I'd rather overpay our good employees than have turnover. So,
yeah.
It's gotten a bit easier with times changing here recently. I would say, I think like any company, there's always problems that pop up, and you need new solutions as you try and scale. One of the big ones we've been tackling the last year is just as our fleet has grown, it's become very difficult to manage parts inventories and boat maintenance. And, I would say a year ago it was something we needed to address. And now we're like, this is like priority number one. With over 50 different boats and jet skis, from South Florida to here, and 30 different vendors. We reached the point. It's like, all right, we all have to figure out how to get on the same page. There's just too many moving parts anymore. And that's what we've really been working on, and it's been helpful. And I feel like going into next season, especially with our seasonal businesses where it's just a big 3-month rush.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge advantage to our business. Just less days lost on the water for something being broke down, or, not communicated to the right person to get it fixed quickly. I think typical growing pains of a water-based business.
Imagine if you had full control of your boat. You felt safer, eliminated the unknown, and you were able to forecast and plan for your boat's upcoming maintenance instead of being caught off guard. Can you imagine knowing exactly what is installed on your boat, down to the part and serial number, on all of your standard and custom equipment at a moment's notice? Having instant access to your manuals while at dock or at sea, and provide custom departure checklists specifically for your boat and your crew. And being able to ensure the value and the pedigree of your boat with digital logs recording the full history of every event on your boat. Well, you can with Vessel Vanguard. We are the leading maintenance and safety management software in the marine industry. We work with a wide range of marine industry experts, including yacht owners, captains, ferry, and tugboat operators. If you're looking to safeguard your assets and preserve your revenue, visit vesselvanguard.com and schedule a demonstration for yourself. The link can be found in the show notes below. We look forward to supporting you and your vessel soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. I mean, liability is a big one too, right?
Yeah, insurance is the insurance market's been increasing dramatically, especially with the parasailing space. There's very few companies that cover it anymore. Jet skis and rental boats are a bit easier, but yeah, there's a lot of liability, and we do our best to educate people that are going on any rental where they really control the craft. There's a lot of steps involved in making sure that they're good to go. And inherently with any sort of rental, there's going to be people that bang up a prop or bang into a dock. Mm-hmm. It's the nature of the business, but we do everything to prevent that, educate them, constantly improve our team every week. What can we do better? What softwares are out there? Now they have some smart systems that you can put into jet skis that can prevent collisions, and prevent them. You can set boundaries so people can't, go over 6 mile an hour in a no wake zone. There's a lot of really interesting products out there that we've implemented or exploring implementing, that just in the end of the day, it makes it a lot safer. It makes it easier for our team. Just a lot less to worry about.
So on the insurance side of it, so you said there's very few that will support the parasail insurance back. My guess is that there's human life loss, and that's just an exponential payout and across the board a tragedy, I'm assuming. But when I think about are there any requirements on the insurance side? Because I know you and I work together, obviously in Vessel Vanguard, and supporting maintenance forecasting and checklists and that kind of thing. I'm curious on if insurance companies are going to start to go down the path of requiring something like a maintenance tracking solution to showcase, hey, we did do these safety checklists, some sort of discount on insurance, or, even to obtain insurance, if that's something that they would make mandatory. Have you heard anything about that?
That's very interesting because on the parasail side, it is the insurance companies are very strict. You have to have a minimum of 3 years just working on a parasail boat as a mate before they'll even consider you. And then you essentially have to have what they call rotations, which is putting a parachute up for 8 to 10 minutes and bringing it back down. You need to have 500 plus rotations with a very experienced captain. And then you need to have industry references that are well known to put their name down for you as well.
Wow.
The problem has been with the parasailing side is there's been a couple of accidents, 2 over the last 4 years within the United States. And both of them have been complete just captains just making terrible decisions with incoming weather, just not being smart in any way. And every time a parasail accident happens, it's immediate national news.
Right.
Even though statistically parasailing is as safe as an airline. But understandably, it always makes the news. Jet ski rentals, the amount of deaths per year per state is actually crazy.
Is it really?
It is. I mean, I can just tell you here in Ocean City, Maryland, there's rarely a summer without 1 to 2 fatal jet ski accidents by the rental companies here.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's kind of, but jet ski insurance, they just have it off the shelf. But one thing we've noticed is we've grown and they see the consistent safety record, and I always send them everything we're implementing from a safety perspective. And it's given us a lot more, I would say, negotiating power with them in terms of if we want to try new things, like incorporating our boat and jet ski club into our insurance, or if we get something back, quote that we don't like, they're much more willing to work with us.
That's interesting. So you just said something about your club. So tell me a little bit about, I'm assuming that they are, rentals that you're able to participate in no matter what location you're at. But do you have a club offering?
Yes, we're starting a club at our Dewey Beach location and Chigatique location.
Okay.
For us, there's both of those locations, there's very limited marina space. And growing up boating, I'm not a huge fan of putting my boat in the water at the ramp every day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Much
I'm in Fort Myers, so yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, and I see it all the time, especially being in the marina business a little bit now. Sea Rocket also manages the two marinas that are in Dewey Beach, Delaware, the one that we operate out of. And there's a lot of people that they just, they rarely use their boat. It'd be much more easier for them to just join a club.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to provide a very easy way where they can just pick up the phone. Hey, this is my membership ID. I'd like to go, Saturday, I'd like a pontoon boat for 8 hours, and they can show up and it's ready to go for them. And, they're not paying dockage and insurance and a payment on a boat. And we think it's going to be, for those particular markets, there's not a whole lot there. Obviously Freedom and Carefree, they've got a lot of locations across the United States. But for both those locations, there's not an existing club. So we're rolling that out this year. And it's a good supplement to our business, considering the monthly membership fees versus, rentals. We're just 75 days open versus year-round income.
Yeah. So that's a phenomenal option. It's something that, we had looked at a long time ago. I'm from Fort Myers, so similar to you, grew up on the waters over here, Back Bay and river riding. And my husband's not from the area, so he's from Ohio. And we came down here, so it's time to get a boat. But we definitely explored that option. I think for somebody who's a recreational boater, who doesn't have easy access or doesn't have, a lift in their backyard, what a phenomenal option. You pay a fee, you have access to all the joys, all the happiness that goes along with being on the water, and you leave all the headache to the side. And it gets expensive, right? Because you got to have your trailer. You got to have, place to store the trailer. You got to be able to navigate the boat ramp, which is hellacious. I don't think I've ever seen a great boat ramp experience. It's stressful. It's crazy. I mean, we ended up going to a Marine Max over here just so we could schedule it and not have to worry about that. But the downside is that I can't take it whenever I want to. I have to be able to schedule it. And if somebody else took that time spot, then I don't have access to it. So give and a take. But being a part of a club, it just seems like it really vibes with the whole boating mentality. And like, you just want to go out and enjoy yourself on the water.
Absolutely. And in the way the whole marina industry is growing, in short, there's very, very limited marinas built nowadays. Virtually none. And over time, there's going to be increasing roll-ups and national companies acquiring them. And, a lot of them are, need a lot of work. And in order to net those capital expenditures, rates are going to go up, just supply and demand. So as that happens, there's going to be a lot of people that it just makes a lot more sense to join a club.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's happening here. Obviously, we had the hurricane a couple of years ago. And so, I mean, we've got maybe 2 marinas to choose from down here, and they're fully booked. You have to go on a waiting list. So I think that's fantastic. All right, so you have new locations that you're opening up, or?
We have 5 now. We just added a couple boats to our Fort Lauderdale fleet this year, last month.
Awesome.
Two party boats. They'll fit in perfect in Fort Lauderdale.
I just got back. Did you go to the boat show?
I did not.
Okay. I just got back from there. So yes, they will fit in perfectly.
Yes. We're this coming year. We're not planning to open up any more locations in-house, but we're going to we're hoping to sell a couple franchises. We're just finalizing that whole process now, but we're finding it makes sense to open up an in-house location. If we've got a location, we know we can do some serious numbers and have a whole series of offerings, rentals, experiences. But we've also found there's a lot of places where, say a mom and pop marina or a local operator, it would make a lot more sense for them to just partner with us. We provide all the customer support, the knowledge, booking system, website. I mean, if it's an option, we can do it. And they can operate their rental boats or jet skis, and in a franchise aspect. And it just from our perspective, it makes a lot more sense to work with a local partner that has the truck or the local knowledge, and we're there to help them, and they can use our ecosystem in every way possible for them to maximize what they can make.
Good for you.
And we've been seeing quite a bit of interest, especially on inland lakes and southeast.
I was just going to bring up lakes and see if that's something that you guys had really exploited.
Absolutely. Yeah. We even have quite a few other water sports companies that we're going to be offering this as well, kind of white labeling our whole customer service apparatus and letting them utilize it, because they need solutions. And with our partners, we've been working to, be able to offer that to a wider audience.
That's fantastic. So you had mentioned COVID and, kind of the explosion with outdoor activities. My parents, we have a business up in North Georgia, up in Helen, Georgia. So it's a cabin rental company, and it exploded. I mean, because one of the things you could do was go to a cabin in the woods, right? And you could be outside and technically not be around masses of people. So crazy explosion. So we've been going up there for a really long time, being down here in Southwest Florida on the saltwater, and then all of a sudden going up and playing in a lake. So we were on Lake Burton, and then what's the big one? It's on the South Carolina and Georgia. I always forget the name of it. Lake Hartwell. It was totally different boating experience. One, because there's no like monsters underneath the water, to the extent that the saltwater provides, but it was a very different experience. More pontoons, smaller boats, a lot of inboards. And I could totally see that being a huge resource there, because we weren't going to tow our boat up there, but I really wanted to experience zipping around on the lake. So that's interesting.
Yep. And we want to keep, we want to work with a franchisee on what works best for their area. When it comes to the rental side, we'd love to keep this dual approach where we have rentals. If you're going there for a week, it's just rent a boat for a day. Whereas you're traveling all over, as we build our network, you can access boats in a lot of different places.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. So you did, when I was digging around on your website, looking at all your information, one of the things I saw was it's like a blog, or you had like a newsletter, and there was some different articles that you're posting just about some of the specials that you're doing, or, locations and how to get more information. But I did see one article that said, why do we desire an adrenaline rush? Is that something that you wrote, or did you just absorb that information from other resources?
I didn't write that. I'm sure our marketing team wrote that.
Okay. I'm like, that's a great push. I'm like, let me get inside your brain and tell you why you need this in your life.
That's funny.
That's fantastic. All right. So obviously you're kicking butt on the customer service. Your business is doing really, really well. We will link everything about Sea Rocket Water Adventures into this podcast, and we'll get you some clips out there so people can know where to find you. What else do you want the world to know about what you and your partner are doing there with the business?
We got a lot of moving parts. We've got our water sports business. Another really cool business that my partner's involved in. It's called Great Outdoor Cottages, and they've started a houseboat manufacturing division. And they're pretty damn cool. Imagine an extremely nice cottage on water. Like, you go inside and it's a nice kitchen and like a fully furnished, brand new cottage.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. That, as you're saying, I'm like, I remember going, what is that? Then I look a little further, I'm like, that is so cool.
Yes, there's going to be some really cool things coming out of that company. We have, where our water sports is in Chicoutimi. It's called Bluefin Bungalows and Marina. they have a marina that's about 75% full of those cottages. And this was the first summer it was open. It was really neat because the families loved it. The kids would be fishing off the dock.
Yeah.
They're right in the marina. They're right next to all of our rental boats where they can go rent a boat and then go out fishing for the day. We found the houseboat market to be very interesting in the United States. There's only a handful of manufacturers, and luxury is definitely not on their mind.
Yeah.
So we felt like it was a really cool niche, and it's exceeded my expectations because you go in there and you're like, I feel like I'm in a home, not a boat. So that's another really cool area that we're involved in. But yeah, we're looking to keep growing our brand and locations and everything in between.
So are you hiring within your locations? Is that something that if somebody was interested in possibly joining the team, do you have that link on your website also?
We do, yes. We have I think they've rearranged it recently, but somewhere there's a jobs page on the website. And we're also really looking to grow our team within the marina space. So there's going to be some more really cool news coming, hopefully pretty soon there.
And are you ready to start talking franchisees, or is that something that's coming down the way?
Absolutely. Yep. We're looking to start there sooner rather than later. I was very nervous. If you asked me a year ago, I would have been super nervous because supply chains were still so crazy. I need to have a franchisee and then they can't get boats for 10 months. But everything has really loosened up here, I would say, the last 3 or 4 months. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get this out there. And one, at the very, very minimum, so people will know exactly what you're doing, why you're different. And if they see you at one of those locations, that they can feel really good about taking an adventure with Sea Rocket Water Adventures. But there's so much more that you've got going on. And I think it could pique a lot of interest out there. So hopefully we'll get some people that are interested in what you're doing, and who knows, and we'll see waterhouse luxury boats all over the place a year from now.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good website, and we're all over social media, YouTube. There's plenty of cool clips of our company, and yeah.
Well, we will definitely link it in the notes here, so you have easy access to get to it. But I'm really glad that you and I got a chance to do this. I know that we have quick conversations every now and then just about, how we're supporting your vessel and all those good fun things. But it's really nice to actually pick your brain and see, how did you even get here, and what a cool opportunity you've got in front of you.
Yeah, it's been a cool ride, and kind of with the changing economic conditions, kind of evolving. It's been neat, and yeah, we're really looking forward to next year. We've been growing very, very rapidly. It'll be nice to kind of just get settled in and really get everything that we have firing on all cylinders and some of our new projects. So we're looking forward to it.
I love it. Well, I hope you feel better soon. I hope you get back to 100% capacity. We will post everything. I'm grateful that we got a chance to do this, and go Knowles. So I had to throw that out there for you. I didn't know you were a hurricane. We could have been bantering for a while. It's coming up. We got 2 weeks, I think we play.
I think so. The Hurricanes have played decent. Of course, they've both games they lost, they absolutely just blew.
Yeah, well, the one that you lost, and it really, you shouldn't have, right? The fumble, the last,
all they had to do was take a knee.
All they had to do was take a knee.
Yeah.
What on earth? But, well, it's going to be at Doak. So, I know. If I was a betting girl, I'd probably go this route. But
yeah.
Well, we'll have to follow back up and see.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Will. I'm really grateful for you. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And let us know if you get a chance to go experience the Sea Rocket Water Adventures with Will and his team. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.